I could just like fold it all in and be done. But I hear the cry of the poor. I hear the cry of the little girl that is gripping a bed, and she's 6 years old as a man is penetrating her. I hear the cry of the 10-year-old little boy who's been stolen by his family and put in a brothel to be bought. I hear the cry of the 12-year-old who just had an abortion in a brothel, and 2 hours later she has to have sex with another 10 men. I hear the cry of Egyptia in Nicaragua, who is living in plastic, tied to a tree, who can't feed her family. I can hear the cry of the daughter who is starving. I can hear the cry of those who have no water, who are parched, who are a dry land and have no hope. I can hear the cry of the children being beaten and no one is helping. It robs my sleep. It keeps me up and it gets me out of bed. I can hear the cry of the elderly who have been forsaken by their own children because their children are more worried about creating their own wealth. And the wealth of the grandparents and the great-grandparents who made all kinds of sacrifices to produce a life for their children and their children's children. They don't care. They want more video games. They want more clothes. They want to eat out. But those grandparents who are totally forsaken and cannot pay their heating bill, and they live in New York, and they're freezing. I can hear the cry of the 90-year-old woman who has 2 sons that never come to see her. And she's been a widow for 17 years, and she has 3 jobs. She cleans houses for a living, and she's a nanny for 2 families. I can hear her cry. I can see her beautiful white hair and her glasses. And she has to work because Social Security and the pension that her husband works so hard for is not enough. And her sons are too busy with their own lives. I can hear the cry of Batya, who's 90 years old. Her son lives in New York. She lives in Israel. Her husband died. She's a widow. She has nothing. I can hear the cry. And we live in such a selfish world today where people don't care. And we much rather go in fully air-conditioned churches that have fluffy pews with big screens. And now smoke for worship. And lights, they spent $300,000 for smoke and lights. Because we have a rock concert every Sunday. Because that's more important than Batya. That's more important than Charlotte. That's more important than Egyptia. That's more important. What have we done? And we expect to be blessed. We want to stay ignorant. So don't you ever look at a pearl as though they're weak, because we ain't. We will fight. And we will fight for the position and the rights of the poor. We will fight for the position and the rights of the Levite. We will fight for the rights of those who've been forsaken. And what is it? $7 a month that feeds an orphan. $11 one time that gives someone fresh, clean water for the rest of their lives. Do you know what happens when you put contaminated water into the ground to try to grow something? You contaminate the food. And look at us. We're not satisfied with our clothes and our closets. We're not satisfied with all the food in our fridge and our pantries. We're not satisfied with the car that we have. We're not satisfied with our job. We're not satisfied with our income. We're not satisfied with anything. And these people are just begging and praying every day, God, please give me water. Please, God, so my kids don't die. $7 a month. Even if somebody makes $7 an hour, they can give 1 hour of an entire 160 hours of a full-time job to feed an orphan for an entire month, right? Simple. Somebody made $11 an hour, then give 1 hour of an entire month of 160 hours. Right? It's not that hard. What if we could feed 1 million orphans? What if we could feed 1 million orphans in a year? Wouldn't that be something powerful to be a part of? Would it be powerful that we stand up and say, no more? No more. Are we going to ignore the cry of the poor?